Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the HYPHEN True Wireless Earbuds. About 3 months back, this was a very successfully crowdfunded project that raised over $1.2 million, and it claimed to be the gold standard of affordable true wireless earbuds. They claim to have hi-fi audio quality, the latest Bluetooth 5.0 chip, and there's two versions. One which comes with built-in Qi wireless charging that sells for around $70 and $60 for a model that doesn't come with wireless charging. This model is the former, so we have the wireless charging capabilities. In fact, it comes with a wireless charging mat as part of the bundled package, which is also presented very well and designed in-house by the same company, Rolling Square. And they claim to be designed in Switzerland. We have the earbuds right on top. We'll take a closer look at this in a moment. Inside of this accessory package, we have access to spare silicone tips to get a more custom fit. We also have a pair of Comply foam tips. This is not a feature that you'll find on many pairs of affordable budget wireless earbuds, and you can squish it and it slowly expands to fill the crevice of your ears, and they allow for better noise isolation, which means that if you don't want to hear your surroundings, you want to really focus on the music, this will drown out a lot of that sound without using active noise canceling. They're also a bit more comfortable for long-term music listening. Lastly, you'll find the charging cable, which is using the slightly older micro USB. I do wish it was using USB Type-C, but it is what it is. And there's also the quick user manual. The charging mat itself, which is made of a soft touch rubber material, just like the HYPHEN earbuds battery case, preventing them from sliding around on the surface quite as easily. It's extremely clean without even any logoing going on. Now the rear of the charging pad is actually made out of aluminum, so it does have a very solid construction quality. Again, this is included if you purchase the version that has wireless charging, and there's simply a micro USB port again for input for the charging mat. Taking a closer look at the design of the battery case, it is a complete square, which makes it look kind of distinctive. Battery life is under 30 hours, in fact around 28 hours or so it's not the longest battery life, still is slightly longer than the Apple AirPods and the Redmi AirDots, just for comparison's sake, but we're also not talking about an endurance king. Now we can see that the battery case size is about 2 times as thick as the Apple AirPods, but about the same in terms of the size on the front. So overall, still is a relatively portable design that's easy enough to put into a pocket. Now on the rear here, we simply have the Rolling Square, which is the company's logo imprinted on it. It says designed in Switzerland again. We have the micro USB port for charging, and that's it. So a very clean overall presentation. Now the way that you open up the battery case is not the most elegant design in the world because it's a lid that can be detached completely and doesn't rely on magnets or anything to keep it attached like on a hinge, which the majority of other battery cases actually have. So it makes the door a little bit easier to lose. And inside here we do have the earbuds themselves, which have a stem design that is a little bit reminiscent of the Apple AirPods, but do have a very angular shape to them that's actually made of acrylic plastic that's shiny and makes them look a little bit more distinctive. Now the earbuds themselves are held into place magnetically, so they are snapped into place with a satisfying click, and you can pop them out and then pop them back in to begin charging them up. There's going to be a small status light on the bottom that tells you when they're being charged. We also have the microphones for picking up your voices when you're doing a phone call, and they're also labeled on the battery case so you can know which side is for the left and which side is for the right. Popping them out of the battery case, let's do a quick size comparison with the aforementioned Apple AirPods. You can see that they are very much similar in terms of the weight as well as the thickness. So they are fairly lightweight. Here are the Redmi AirDots, so you can see here also very similar as well. Just taking a closer look at the earbuds themselves, the body of the unit is made of the same color as the case, and it's also coated in a layer of soft touch rubber, which adds some resistance when you are wearing them and also putting them into and out of your ears. There's a touch sensitive area which is closer towards the center of the earbuds that you can tap on to play and pause the music, answer reject phone calls, and to skip tracks. What's really neat is you can also long hold on the earbuds, the left and right sides, to turn the volume up and down, so you don't have to rely on the volume keys on your phone. That's a feature that I personally think should be found on every pair of true wireless earbuds, but unfortunately the vast majority don't have any type of volume control. 3 more details to mention. First of all, they come in 3 different colors. So this is a storm gray that you see here, also comes in a night black and a pure white. The second feature is they have fast charging, so you can charge them for 15 minutes in the battery case and they will give you 3 hours of playback time. And then finally, these are using a series of very discrete beeps in order to tell you if they're paired to your phone and their status, as opposed to lots of other low-cost Shenzhen-based true wireless earbuds, which have a kind of obnoxious accent-filled voice that tells you things like powering on or connected. All of those loud and rather unprofessional voice prompts have been replaced on here by a series of beeps and clicks. Overall, it's a simple, understated design, but works quite well, and again, it's very snug-fitting and comfortable in my testing thus far. Moving into audio quality and performance, the HYPHEN earbuds have extreme clarity. In fact, they're probably the most clear sounding out of the past 10 or 20 pairs of true wireless earbuds that I've tested. There's simply no hissing or static of any kind in the background, so no distortion at all, which is just really rare for true wireless earbuds. You can strain your ears, listen super closely, and it's still silent apart from just the music itself. What's also impressive is the audio quality for making phone calls. The microphones on these tend to perform above average. They're certainly a form of ambient noise reduction, so even if you're in a crowded space, it still picks up your voice really well and actually perform better in terms of call quality than the Apple AirPods and the comparable Pamu slides, which we also reviewed a few months back. In terms of its specific audio profile, I'd say that if you get a really tight seal and snug fit by pressing them into your ears, there's a good amount of bass here. It's not overpowering, nor is it the most bass-rich pair of earbuds I've tried. There are some which do have larger drivers, again, like the aforementioned EWA T200s, which have a 13mm driver, versus these, which are closer to 6 or 7mm. With that being said, you can still get a nice kick in the background, especially if you're listening to bass-boosted tracks. You can definitely still feel its presence. It's just not overpowering and doesn't really distract from the mids and highs, which still have plenty of room to shine as a result. That clarity that I talked about previously allows you to really appreciate especially vocals and I would say acoustic tracks that you're listening to. Some final remarks: I found the touch sensitive key to be quite sensitive and easy to use, and the noise isolation was also really good, especially with the Comply foam tips they include. One thing to keep in mind though is with the foam tip you lose out on a little bit of bass as it tends to absorb a little bit of the lower end and push out the mids a little bit more. So it changes the sound ever so slightly, but makes it more comfortable when you're sitting down and you want to isolate more noise, versus the silicone tips, which are a bit more bass heavy. So depending on the sound profile that you want, you can opt for the tip that they include in the packaging. Lastly, just a quick demo of its wireless charging capabilities with this included wireless charging pad, simply resting it on the top and it begins charging up and we see a small white LED light pop onto life. So that's more or less it for our hands-on review of the HYPHEN True Wireless Earbuds. Are they necessarily the gold standard of true wireless earbuds like they claim to be? Well, it depends. When it comes to the audio quality for something that's around $60, I definitely think that they're one of the best sounding in terms of giving you crystal clear sound that's free from any static or distortion. But slight downsides would be probably the design of the battery case itself, which I do prefer if there's some type of LED status light on the external, in addition to the lid itself, which I find to be a little bit not as refined as I would want it to be. I think that they can use a magnetic door or something that opens up like a hinge, such as the majority 99% of true wireless earbuds. So I'm not really sure why they went with such a proprietary design for the lid, but regardless of that, if you can look past that slight inelegant mechanism for the door, I think there's plenty to like here in terms of the sound quality. And you can check out more details if you are interested in the links down below. That's been the HYPHEN True Wireless Earbuds. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.